It happened so that this year's holiday season coincided with a serious recalibration of my life after my husband and I moved countries. Our spendings over the past 2 months were high. We'll have to go on a pretty strict budget, and it seems like this time of the year is the worst for such an intention, because everything and everyone around urges to buy stuff, be it a necessity or a non-necessity. I like to think of myself as an intentional consumer, but I still fall into the trap of a holiday glitch. In this video, I'll share some thoughts and tips on how to deal with this holiday glitch in order to save money, restore your sanity, and reconnect with your core values. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Anna, and this channel is about the gentle philosophy of finding and nourishing your true self through meaningful ideas, relationships, and things. And first, here is my very unpopular opinion. I don't believe in no buys, just as I don't believe in anything extreme unless it is related to addiction behaviors, but this topic requires expertise, which I don't have. As I've tried no buys and different restrictions, oftentimes extreme ones, I haven't seen any improvement in my mental and emotional well-being, and I've already made a couple of videos on this channel addressing this issue. We cannot escape the economic system, we cannot escape capitalism, at least for now, but what we can do is be more intentional with our choices and understand what stands behind our decisions to buy or not to buy. Holiday season gives way to such a thing as holiday glitch, the psychological trap that makes even intentional people overspend and overconsume. This happens due to a handful of reasons, and one of them is a fantasy holiday. I like to explore the idea of a fantasy self. I mention it quite a lot in my videos, and in one of the recent ones, which was about my decluttering experience, I shared what an unexpected facet of that imaginary self made me overbuy things that I didn't need. But also, apart from a fantasy self, there is such a thing as a fantasy holiday. During this season of cozy preparations, we can begin to fear that our holiday won't be enough, that we won't have enough proper ambiance to feel the spirit fully, or we won't have the right gifts for our loved ones or for ourselves. To tackle this fear, we often address the exterior of the problem, and that's what holiday marketing is all about, making you buy things to recreate the fantasy. But if the interior is not addressed, there is a risk of facing yet another holiday disillusionment. So, what can be done to prevent this fantasy holiday? Think of the sum of your previous experiences. What did you expect back then? What did you get in the end? What was joyful and what was painful? Ask yourself, what do you really want? What do you really care about? Is it heaps of gifts, or is it family dinner, or is it spending a quiet evening with a book and not caring about the public celebrations at all? How do you choose gifts for your loved ones? Do you choose gifts for the real persons that they are, or for their fantasy selves that exists only in your mind? And asking yourself these questions honestly, and more importantly, answering them honestly, will give you much more clarity. When I grew up, we didn't have a tradition of gift giving during winter holidays. I grew up in Western Siberia, Russia. My parents were not religious and we didn't celebrate Christmas, but we did celebrate New Year, although without gifts. When I was 13, I had saved my pocket money for several months and I bought little gifts, little presents to give to my parents and to my brother. I was just as excited as I was heartbroken when I didn't get the reactions that I anticipated. I was too young to process my emotions and to understand that maybe my parents were just too touched or too embarrassed to express joy. They belonged to a completely different generation pretty messed up, and their fantasy holiday was so much different from mine. I wanted to recreate these scenes from Hollywood movies that I watched with Christmas celebration, just family gatherings, all those things. But my reality was completely different from that fantasy celebrations. It was not worse, not better, it was just different. Holiday season, with its atmosphere, activities, rituals, aesthetics, breeds a sense of belonging, which is so alluring and also pleasant to feel. Let's just admit it. Every year, I catch myself wanting to buy something stupid and unnecessary just in order to show to myself that yes, I belong to this festivity too. It becomes so very easy to be swept away by everyone's rush to buy stuff on Black Friday or decor for Christmas, even if it's just a tiny little ornament. Mimicry, be it social or biological, is a mechanism of survival. Insects and certain animals can visually merge with the scenery to avoid being eaten or to successfully prey on someone. Copying works of others is a very normal stage in one's art practice, because this is how you get the taste of the process. And mirroring is a well-known psychological trick to make a person like you when you mirror their gestures, signature words, views, and manner of holding yourself. Mimicry is inbuilt in us, but we often forget that it's just one link in a chain, that it's the initial stage of survival, of beginning to develop our personality. On the foundation of the mimicked and copied things, we have to build something of our own, because otherwise we are nothing more than just copies. A sense of belonging, which is a very important sense and shouldn't be underestimated or trashed, can be gained without social mimicry and without overconsumption of this because of this mimicry. For example, it can be gained through creating, through baking, making your own decor with what you already have, and if you have some extra money to spend, maybe it's worth spending it on some online or offline workshop instead of going to the mall. Variants are endless, and again, if you approach this with utter honesty, you will see so clearly how you can gain this sense of belonging without copying someone's overconsumption behavior. In this very realm lies a FOMO, or a fear of missing out. In one of my recent videos on Patreon, I talked about how I quite surprisingly and unexpectedly discovered that I do have FOMO, and I shared how I'm dealing with it. And if you enjoy my videos here on this channel and you would like to see more personal vloggy and chatty sharings from me, consider joining my Patreon community, where I post new videos every week. You can join and leave anytime you want. And also, this video is sponsored by my lovely Patreon community. Without them, it would be impossible for me to create videos for this channel and also for my new channel about art journaling. So thank you so much to everyone who supports me there. This is an experimental idea that occurred to me while I was writing an essay to turn it into this video, and I'm very curious if you can relate to this. So, during holiday season, especially pre-New Year, we tend to spend more than we need, or even more than we might want, because of the subconscious desire to fill the void of uncertainty on the threshold of the unknown. We all like making plans and resolutions and imagining that we can predict what the new year will be like, but maybe deep inside we are very fearful of what this new year may bring to our life. I bet that all of you watching this video had at least one experience in your life when you had the most wonderful, hopeful, and inspiring festive season and then faced an extremely challenging and even dark year. Life is made of unpredictabilities and uncertainties, although we wished so much that it was otherwise. On December 31st, 2021, on this channel, I published a video about my New Year's celebration. That video was full of joy and hope and readiness to shake off the grief and challenges that I had to face that year. And 2022 turned out to be even worse. It was one of the worst years in my life and in lives of other people, and that video is no longer available on my channel. I made it not public due to personal reasons, and I'm sharing this story not to induce pessimism, of course not. It's rather a reminder of how important it is to acknowledge your real feelings and your real anticipations in order not to be illusional, not to rely on some imaginary certainty. Instead, it's better to be hopeful, which is a much softer and gentle way to let yourself dream and make a wish. The New Year's threshold is the time of utter uncertainty. It's a very stressful time if to think about it. And to combat this uncertainty, we often turn to consumerism, because it adds weight to our otherwise fluctuating life. We enter into now or never mentality. By making a purchase, we think we make a contract with this world that we will have all the best conditions to use the thing. We'll have time, energy, health, and money to maintain it, etc. But such contracts are laughable. So, what to do about it? Embrace the uncertainty and dream away. Maybe instead of buying a new dress for a Christmas or New Year's party, lay that money aside for your dream that you will try to make come true next year. For example, I'm going to make a map of my dreams for 2026, and I will list things there that I will be so happy to spend money on. I want to spend at least 1 week on the seaside next year. It's something that I haven't done in several years. I also want to get a bike. I want us to adopt a dog finally. And these are just a few of those dreams that I'm going to map. After you make a list of these money-sensitive dreams and you keep this list in mind, it will be quite hard for you to fall prey to that holiday glitch and to overspend. Once again, I'm not one of those who denies the pleasing effect of buying things. Living in such a highly turbulent world and facing uneasy personal circumstances that many of us face at the moment, it's very important to have beautiful and comforting belongings that become essentials for our mental and emotional well-being. But by allowing more nuances into your life in general and your spending in particular, you can build a more complex, nurturing, honest, and inspiring personal environment, which becomes such a treasure in today's oversimplified and copycat world. Feel free to share in the comments your thoughts and experiences, whether you ever notice this holiday glitch in yourself and how you deal with it, whether you resonate with what I shared with you today. Let's connect and discuss. Thank you so much for your time, attention, and support of my work, dear friends. For now, as always, be safe and keep your heart open, and I will see you soon. Пока-пока.